Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Emerge Detour Essentials Live. This is the Emerge Trio, and we are here every single week, every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And this is where we bring you exciting guests talking about their lives, different things happening in their environment, their careers, and hopefully we leave you with something that you can take away, an actionable item to move on to creating a better life for yourself. So we welcome you if you are new to Emerge. As I said, we're here every Wednesday, and you can take the time to like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend, tell everybody to come online now, join us. We have an exciting guest backstage, as always, and we're looking forward to sharing with you. I am going to quickly introduce myself because we don't want to assume that you all know who we are. So my name is Naomi Garrick. I'm also known as the PR Chick. I'm a personal branding coach and the founder of Garrick Communications, a boutique PR agencies. And essentially, I help brands and people to stand out in a very noisy world. Why is there always this pause? Why always pause?
He didn't say who must go next. Punchinella, little fella. So my name is Rochelle Cameron. I had an interesting experience. Somebody asked me recently, how many things do you do? And I said, I'm like one of those, when you order a fried chicken lunch in Jamaica, a fried chicken lunch with a little oxtail gravy, and it come with macaroni and cheese. It come with like tossed salad, and then I have to squeeze down the box because it's overflowing. So I'm a lady that utilizes all my talents for this one life that God has given me. I'm a trained attorney at law. I do some motivational speaking. I am a mother, and I have very big teeth in this view I'm seeing of myself. So at the end of the day, guys, my name is Rochelle Cameron. I'm a fried chicken with oxtail gravy lunch.
Wow.
I love it.
Hi, everybody. I am Kathy Goodall. I am a connector of brands, businesses, and people. I have a marketing consultancy, Redefined Business Services Limited. And of course, I'm a part of the Emerge Trio. I'm also a leadership and growth coach. And Rochelle, we have a question for you. Someone would like to know, how do they get in touch with the lawyer Rochelle because they need some legal services?
Oh, hi there. If you, what's the best way? Could you just email us at readytoemerge now? readytoemerge@gmail.com, and you and I can connect with email and phone numbers after that. Looking forward to meeting with you.
Look at that. I love it. Guys, let us know where you're joining us from. We always love to know where our viewers are from. We know a lot of you are from right here in Jamaica, but we tend to have some guests from outside of Jamaica, sometimes from the UK, Canada, the US, of course, and our surrounding sister islands. So let us know where you're joining us from this week.
Yes.
Rochelle, I love your background today. It's very nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. You know what my nephew said to me? He calls me, Auntie, I like your new background. So I said, thank you. Hear him now? It's have a buzz. It's shot. Keep it up, girl.
How old is he? How old is he, Rochelle?
He's 16. He thinks he's my gentleman.
When a 16-year-old boy says that, that's saying a lot.
No, I want to say, I'm cloud 9 since.
That's like ratings.
Yeah. And when them say have a buzz, you're like, you want to tell everybody. You want to go down the window at the stoplight and say, guess who has a buzz? Well, guys, Alicia, where's Alicia Taylor?
Oh, she reaching Cayman. I thought Cayman was on lockdown.
Alicia, welcome. Kemoy, welcome. Alicia, Jamaican in Brooklyn. I see Kemoy. Hi, Kemoy. I see one of my favorite people in the world, one Marissa Bailey. Hi, Mar. Esther Gail Fraser. Do you remember that young lady, Nye?
How can we not?
Of course. How can I not remember Esther? She's the best.
Yes, she is. Esther, are you back? She get back, right?
Yep.
Yeah, she's been back. She's been back.
So last week's episode was so exciting. I mean, Gabby and Tosh with our Emerging Entrepreneurs series was so good. I mean, I have been getting feedback all week about both of them. It's such a beautiful thing to see young entrepreneurs excelling at the level that they're excelling at, and diversifying their portfolio and growing and developing several businesses. It's such a beautiful thing.
It's great, and they're not just their entrepreneurial journey, but I mean are both really really amazing women, very inspiring. So if you have not watched that episode, you can always go on our YouTube channel. You can watch that episode and so much more. So guys, a lot of things are happening right now, right here in Jamaica. As we know, our COVID-19 cases have increased.
Massively.
We have new COVID-19 measures in place once again. And we just have to remind each other that, guys, this is not a joke, right? I know we're all frustrated, we're tired, we hate the 8 o'clock curfew, but at the end of the day, it's for the greater good of our entire country. We need to continue wearing our masks, sanitizing, social distancing, and, at the end of the day, stay at home if you can. Yeah. It's not worth the risk right now. Our hospitals are crowded. So even individuals overcrowded. So even individuals that have other life-threatening needs apart from COVID-19, there's a possibility that you could not be seen. So do what you need to do to keep yourself and your family safe.
Yeah. And even when you're thinking about safety, it's almost like that time that, when we contribute to things and we say, we're looking out for each other. Wearing your mask is not just looking out for yourself. It's like you are making a contribution. So if you're looking for something charitable to do, maybe it's not just giving somebody a money, but it's also wearing your mask, sanitizing, and helping to protect them. Over the last 3 weeks, I know 5 people have died from COVID.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to hear that, Rush.
Yeah. So it's very real. Families are hurting. So we have to look out for each other in a different way. The funny thing with it, is that, when you never used to go nowhere anyway, you're like 8 o'clock, but that's late, man. Because 8 o'clock, you're 90 powder. I look through the window and say, "Oh, that's out there,"
I know
that was my whole life. 6 o'clock on a Friday was like the best time ever. Pajamas, nice lotion. What am I gonna fall asleep to? On Netflix watching. Like, that was my Friday evening. It was the best.
Yeah, I know it's all day.
Right.
No, it's every day. No, it's every day. So guys, another big day that's coming up is International Women's Day on the 8th of March. I believe that's Monday, right? So we have the opportunity. And the thing is, I realize that it is International Women's Day, but it's also celebrated as International Women's Month, right? So the whole month is for us. So take the time to reach out to a woman that you admire, or see how you can help to lift up someone else in your female community, or just say a kind word of encouragement to someone that you admire. Yeah. So on that note, I'm going to hand over the introductions to Rochelle, but we definitely have a gentleman backstage that supports women in business, that we have had the pleasure of working with on several occasions. He is a friend of the Emerge Trio, and I am going to hand over to Rochelle to do her awesome work that she does every week on doing the introductions for our guests.
Yes. So actually, for this particular guest, I didn't know where to begin, because I suppose, like me, he is a fried chicken with rice and peas, but I like give him curry goat gravy.
I would agree with a little curry goat too.
A little curry goat gravy, because it's kind of a mixture of all kind of things. So just in case you wondered which school he attended, let me start with there, because he attended the great Campion College, And this man actually studied mechanical engineering at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus.
Yes.
And he have a first class honors. So, please, when on sending the note to say any comps for Cabana City, please write Dear Mr. Shepherd, sir, you have any complimentary tickets, sir, for Cabana City, sir? Beg you one. So he
Sure.
is, sir. He is the CEO of SNB Creative Group, a newly formed group of innovative companies in the entertainment and digital media space. He has produced headline entertainment events and is a part of the teams that produce Weekender, Cabana City, and Celebrity Playground, the Dream Weekend event. He is the consummate project manager with vast experience coming from the fast moving consumer goods industry. He worked at Red Stripe in several fields, including engineering, marketing, sales, and new product development. So you saw me say, fried chicken, rice and peas, curry goat gravy, tossed salad, and you know that special macaroni and cheese.
But I was not about to
You
say
forgot,
that.
but you forgot the oxtail,
What?
Rochelle.
Oh, and a little oxtail on the side too. So he is truly the established entrepreneur. If you follow him online, you follow him as Insta Dean. And the man is such an influencer that him have people walking past glass with them phone, videoing themselves and tagging him. He has recently welcomed into his life a boss girl by the name of Nyla, who is holding rank with his boss mother, Dr. Deane Shepherd. Naomi mentioned that he is a man who supports women in business, supports women in corporate, and he comes from some solid foundation with that. So, some of you know him for begging him camp tickets. Some of you know him when at the gate, you still are begging camp tickets. But remember, please, the man is a big, big engineer. The man is a project manager. He is an entrepreneur. He is a leader. He is one of the new face of what entrepreneur and business looks like in Jamaica. And you get the unique opportunity in your living room with your foot cock up on your YouTube to welcome Mr. Deane Shepherd.
That definitely is one of the more unique introductions I've ever had. So, thank you for that one.
I'm sure. Listen, everybody that comes on the show says they want to walk with a pocket version of Rochelle or have Rochelle do the voiceover introduction for them.
Yeah, definitely. I walk with her every time I go anywhere, enter the room before me.
Rochelle, you really have to consider like creating these things and like charging people for it.
For real.
So, we have to work on that, okay?
Thanks, Nai. Thanks, man.
Yeah. We'll
So,
talk after the show.
after that great introduction by Rochelle, I think there's so many things that people have learned about you today because most people that haven't known you for a long time know a section of your life. So they know you as a promoter or they know you from Blueprint, but a lot of people don't know the history of where you're coming from. I mean, Rochelle just told us you graduated with honors as an engineer and then you went into project management. So tell us about your early life and how you got into project management because you went from engineer, Red Stripe, project management, events,
Yeah.
and now this empire that you've created. So walk us through your journey.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey. It actually started even before engineering. I actually studied computer studies at Mona, UW Mona first. So it's a funny story. So started at Campion, and at Campion I said, Pops, I want to do engineering. I like sciences. And he says, well, yeah, you can do that, but you need to do Spanish. So my father is a Spanish expert. So he just believes in being bilingual, opens up possibilities. So I said, all right, I'll do Spanish for CXC. Whatever. Turns out that did Spanish, did well. So, got my big, 7-1s in CXC and 2 A's for A levels and just applied to engineering in Trinidad and just said, yeah, man, just tell me when is the flight to go down. And they're like, sorry, sir, you have not met the matriculation requirements for our program. So I said, how could that be possible? So it turns out that I didn't do chemistry. So chemistry is a prerequisite. So I did physics, math, econ, because, that's kind of where I started my love for business because I was very good at econ. And so they said, sorry, you can't get in. So they said, okay, do GCE or something equivalent at Mona. So I started it, but when you go on campus for the first time, there are a lot of distractions. So I can't say I was probably the most focused. It was a new environment, so I had a fun.
That's a good way of
Explore,
putting it.
exploring the campus, sports, and so fast forward, I ended up at UA because I couldn't get that chemistry equivalent, and just came out with I was about to fail out, funny enough, and then I said, hold on there, I'm stuck in the second year. I might as well just finish a degree since I'm here already. So I buckled down in the last 2 years, got the degree, wrote to Trinidad again and said, listen, trust me, I can do it. Just give me a course that is equivalent in the first year of engineering, and I'll do it. So they said, okay. So I got in, failed the chemistry course again because it's just one of those courses that I didn't grow up with it, so I just couldn't get it. And again, Trinidad is full of distractions as well, so I was also very, very distracted in Trinidad. But sciences is something that I loved, and I went over there to complete a mission. So that's when I finished up my engineering degree. But from UA, coming up, I was always put in charge of things. So, I was always the captain of the football team or leading initiatives in school projects. And so that's kind of where it started, that kind of project management focus. So when I was in Trinidad now, they have this routine that when you're in your first year, you plan, the dinners for the final year. So again, they made me in charge of that. So every year, I was in charge of something, and that's kind of how the people started to look at me as Mr. Project. That's the term they use on campus because anything to do with the hall dinner, football, captain of the football team, etc. I was in charge of it. It's a funny story that part of that is that because my demeanor is so relaxed and easygoing, people pile on the responsibility and kind of take it for granted. And so there's a tradition in Trinidad where whoever is in charge of all these major projects, they're automatically named Man of the Year. But I excelled in those projects and I excelled in sports, so they didn't give it to me. And, it was kind of, I don't necessarily do things for accolades, but it was something that kind of said, what, I feel like people take me for granted. So I finished the degree, all excited, came out to Red Stripe. As I landed in Red Stripe, and this is the thing about paying it forward, I applied with no experience. And my first boss at the time, Cedric Blair, he said, no, he's too young, not taking him on. And then my friend, who is, I'm godfather to his children, Alistair, he called, right, yeah, Bolo. He worked there and he said, Cedric, why are you not giving the young guy a chance? He said, but him don't know anything. He did just out of school and I need somebody to run all these projects for me. And he's like, so hold on there, didn't somebody give you a chance? And he was like, all right, call him in. Went to the interview, did well. Cedric is a guy that, his personality matches mine in the sense that he sets high standards and holds you to it, but he's not like a dictator type of boss. He's a boss that makes you feel like you couldn't do any better. You think that standard is okay for you. So I learned a lot from him trying to match him. And so in that first role as a project engineer, I landed at the right time. Red Stripe was going through this 5-year capital expenditure plan. So in my 2 years of doing engineering at Red Stripe, I did about 30 projects that typically people would have seen over 10 years experience. And so it was really good experience, planning, working out, scheduling, talking to people and the directors, talking to the workmen. And so that's kind of where it started. And then because I'm outgoing, I was always out and about with the marketing team. And this was around the time that I started dabbling in parties where PP, and PP was a very exciting guest a couple of episodes ago. He was doing this party with his friends, and I started saying, it kind of interests me. So anyway, the marketing director at the time, who was Karen Felician Brown, she said, Deane, I need somebody over in marketing who can add some structure to our new products when we're doing our launches. And so I don't want, no offense to anybody, I don't want just a marketer who has the ideas. I need somebody who can take the ideas and structure them and, go forward. So I said no, of course, because I'm like, I couldn't have gone through all that exciting story to get to Trinidad in the first place, to work hard, get the first class degree, and then do only 2 years. And then, as a true marketer, she came off leave and she sat down in front of me and she said, she called me into her office and said, what do you want to be known for in your life? So, she's touching a corn now because I already said people take me for granted because as one of the projects that I did everything for the project and they gave somebody else the award for leading the project. And even my boss at the time looked at it and I was just like, wow, that's kind of wild.
Yeah.
So she called me in her office and she says, Deane, what do you want to be known for in your life? Do you want to be known as the man who, fixing a pump in the plant? Or do you want to be the person that launched the new Heineken in Jamaica, launched the new Smirnoff Ice in Jamaica? You tell me what you want to be known for. So I was like, this lady is a true marketer, I said, she said, all right, cool, I'll do it. And so I came in and, I had a run again, dropped in at the right time. One thing about me is that I'm a sponge for information. So I knew nothing about marketing. So they sent us to London for the Diageo training. And I sat there in a room of marketers from around the world. And every time they were teaching, I was like, so why you did that? So why you did that? Sorry, I don't understand. Explain that again for me. And everybody's like, who's this guy? But by the end of it, I was participating, I was involved, and I was in the groups, and it made sense to me because, again, the engineers rule the world. If you do your research, CEOs, a lot of the CEOs have an engineering background. It was working things out, is what gets me going in terms of figuring out new things. And so we did Smirnoff Ice, we did Smirnoff new bottles, packaging, launched Black Ice, Smirnoff Black Ice, launched the new Smirnoff bottle to Jamaica, the new Guinness bottle in Jamaica. And all of these projects included, they took advantage of my knowledge of the plant, and, finance, packaging, marketing, sales, because we had to get the sales team involved. And that's kind of how the project evolved. And so from that marketing role, which was new product development manager, I went over to sales as a commercial manager for special projects. So when Diageo at the time was taking on relaunching the spirits brands in Jamaica, that was my project, me to the Ray Nephew, discuss pricing, import duties, sales plan, marketing plan, rolling it all out. And so that's kind of how it came together for me, and even new sales strategies, tiered pricing. So when they say Red Stripe is a university, it's literally a university, because I came out from that with a love of working out new things and a love for econ, and came out sales, marketing, finance. Like I worked out the pricing from the UK to landed shelf in Jamaica, CIF, all the duties, special consumption tax, just because I was very hungry about getting things done. And that's kind of how that whole project manager started. And then in my final year of Red Stripe, I tell people that I was there for 8 years. For 7 of 8 years, I was just doing projects. So my boss is never really, I really had no boss. I had leaders who would just say, Deane, get this done for me. I check it back. So wherever I was coming, I'd come in early, I'd stay late, but they didn't care. I could not have been there for all their concern. They just were very happy with me getting things done. And in my final year, I had my first boss. Why are you not at your desk? Come and do this report for me. You came in late. Where were you? And I probably didn't handle how I handled that situation is not how I'd recommend to anybody in terms of handling that situation. But I pretty much said, yo, that's it for me. That's not me. And so I said to myself, I'm working so many hours, had passion for what I was doing. How could I take this and do something for myself? And that's literally at the point at which I said, I'm going to take 3 years and just try something for myself. I have enough money to last me X. So the worst case, I just brush off my resume, go back into corporate. And that's pretty much how the Blueprint story started at that point in time in 2008.
Right. So in 2008, you went into entrepreneurship.
Right.
That's not an easy, it's an easy decision to make, but it's not an easy journey. right?
Definitely not.
And so tell us what your experience has been like with Blueprint and starting your own business. I mean, Blueprint up until now,
Corona.
how long did it? 2008, right?
Yeah.
13 years. Yeah.
Can you pull up that last comment on the screen?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, going on your own is something that I would recommend once you have the mindset for it. I tell people that I am not a true entrepreneur. My father is a true entrepreneur in the sense that he has an idea, he doesn't care what the risks are, he works it out in his head and he goes for it, meaning that he has a risk appetite. I don't have a risk appetite. I have a work it out logically appetite. And so if I need $10 a day for the year to be able to survive, I have to work that out for myself first, and then all right, I could do that. Okay, now I will go. So starting it off, I mean, I started in my the second room in my apartment. Started off as a marketing consultancy, and then because when I was leaving Red Stripe and I had started dabbling with Osmosis and the parties with Philip at PP, sorry. I didn't feel from that time. I didn't feel satisfied being known as a promoter, even at that point in time. I didn't love the promoter thing is weird in Jamaica. You have to go very big to be, I think, respected. Versus in Europe and the US, UK, you have festival promoters who are like big and people are respected. I didn't love it at that point in time, and I feel kind of like, all right, how do I take my structure, my love for the social life, and make a business out of it? And I said, all right, let me do corporate event planning. And so that's how it started. I have to big up Julian Patrick. He worked at NCB at the time, and he gave him my first couple of events. Started dabbling, took some big risks. When I think back about a young company doing a corporate event, I'm like, how would he ever have given me that opportunity? So did that. Wasn't really paying attention to some of the basics in terms of like, keeping track of your numbers properly and so forth. I had an idea that I could do corporate events in a structured way and make them win. Did that for a couple of years till I started but I was also doing parties. And so I was doing this series called Ultra, and Ultra was making a lot of money for that time, right? And so from 2008 to 2014, which is 6 years, I really wasn't, it's about 2013. I really wasn't focused on Blueprint. A job came up, fine, but really and truly it was being funded by the party lifestyle. So I wasn't really focused. And it was when Ultra finally came to a halt, I was like, hold on there. I really need to start figuring out what this industry is about. And so that's when I started saying, you know what, find your positioning. What's your positioning? What are you really going after? Because, this event industry is 20 reasons to call you. Which reasons are you focusing on? And that's when I started to kind of really get down into the detail of what Blueprint was about. And so we started focusing on events, the creative side of events. We used to plan events, and then we found that people were only calling us when they needed a big event because we didn't have like our own equipment, and so people didn't see us that way. And I was like, why does it matter to you? I can give it for $10. The person with the equipment gives it for $10. Why does it matter? But sometimes in business, you have to listen to the market. It may not make sense to you, but you have to listen to what the market is saying to you and find the sense in it and the insight in it. And I said, you know what, Russell, Russell Hugh is one of my longest serving team members. I said, Russell, let's buy some equipment. Right, let's buy some equipment. So don't know how, found the money, do some gym screeching, get some equipment. People would never believe the quantity of equipment we really had when we started, but we did it, and 10 looked like 100 in our videos and pictures. And so all of a sudden, people start calling us for like production stuff. Can you set up a goalpost? Can you do the audio? Can you do a screen? And I said, wow, well, we're now officially a credible event supplier.
Yeah.
And that's when now we started to kind of launch into what defined us, which was our finished product, the finished look and feel of what we were doing, our attention to detail, and our service. service is like, our number one thing. Everybody has a light, everybody has a trust, but what makes Blueprint different? It has to be that when you call, the people are friendly, attention to detail, they're bright, they're creative, and they're honest. And that's how we did it. And we did that, making a mark, mentored coincidentally by OJ from Starlight.
Yeah.
And as much as, we were seen as a competitor, anything, OJ, should I do this? What do you think about this? And OJ will be like, well, you could do this or you could do this. And, really the godfather in the industry.
Yes.
And so from about 2015, 2016, I started saying, what's more? I didn't want to stay where I was. I felt like people, now that we were a credible supplier, we were now only a small supplier. Because I don't want to be a small supplier in terms of how people are viewing us. No, man, I want to be in the big leagues. I'm not a lightweight or featherweight. I want to be in the heavyweight category. And that's part of just kind of setting your own vision for yourself in terms of not being complacent and setting a goal and figuring out how you're going to get to that goal. So from that time, OJ and I started talking. He'd been in the industry for a while. I said, OJ, so what are you thinking? Where are you going with this? And what could I bring to you? What could you bring to me? And we started dabbling. Then we kind of drifted apart for a while. And then we said in about 2019, we started having some serious talks about what if we combine your production excellence with our kind of creative and event management, customer service, and build a super team. We started talking. We got fellow Campionites, of course, Kara Robinson from Norbrook team involved to help us to kind of brainstorm and structure it. And we put it together and formed the SMB Creative Group. A few steps before, in terms of taking numbers seriously, that's something that I'd always say. If I could have done it over, I would have started earlier with QuickBooks, understanding the numbers to make better decisions around the business. What you make is not what you really earn. And that's a big distinction to know what decisions you should make. So I think I've been fortunate in terms of setting the brand, putting the brand out there, using that marketing know-how along with the kind of technical know-how to build blueprints. And now with SNB partnering with Starlight or being under the same umbrella as Starlight helps us to elevate ourselves in terms of we add our secret sauce to Starlight, and Starlight takes all their years of experience on the production side and builds us. And then now we use that platform to continue to innovate. And so with Corona, they say, if you didn't launch a new business in Corona, you weren't taking Corona seriously. And so we started real-time studio to tap into the live stream market. And so we kind of use that as a hook to get clients in, and then we bring Starlight and Blueprint with it because, hey, we can do the stage for you, we can do the decor for you, we can do the lights for you. So it all kind of works together. And we have 1 and 2 other brands that we are launching. One is in development, almost ready to launch, and then the others I can't really talk about as yet. So that's kind of been the journey. And every time people ask me about my journey, I always remember to highlight this point in terms of that promoter distinction in terms of what I'm known as, because I do Celebrity Playground on Dream Weekend, I do Cabana City, did Osmosis, The Weekender, did Ultra. That's so public, and what I do for Blueprint is not as public in the sense of associated with me. They see the pictures and they see the work of Blueprint, and I put my team forward. But as far as Deane, a lot of people don't even know what I really do except promoter. So I went to Chris Willie from Proven once, and when you're making time for Chris Willie, you have to set like a good 2 hours.
Just 2 hours? Just 2 hours?
Exactly.
1 hour and 45 minutes to chat about going out, party, this person, that person, where the football, how he didn't make the JC football team, but he's still a good footballer. And in the last 15 minutes, I said, all right, Chris, I want to give up this party thing because I don't think people take me seriously. And he said, no, that's ridiculous. What you need to do is just kind of switch it around. Now people know you as the promoter, Deane, who dabbles in or does something with something called Blueprint. Change it around. Position yourself as a serious businessman, even in terms of how you dress, how you carry yourself, what you post, and then they'll know you as Deane, the businessman who also dabbles in parties, because parties are your recruiting ground. A lot of people who you see me make joke offer, who beg me comes, are the same people who are giving me conferences to plan for them and launches and cocktail events. So it's a recruiting ground for the next brand manager, the next marketing manager. So that was a life-changing conversation for me. And I don't do mentors well enough, but it's something that people really should do in terms of talking to people and getting experiences with other people. And that's pretty much how I'm here now in terms of my focus and my attitude towards this.
I mean, first of all, that was amazing. But one of the things I just want to point out is that what I really liked about Blueprint is that the fact that you did differentiate yourself in the market, because you started being the go-to person for corporate events, for conferences that didn't look like conferences. It was almost like conferences with flair. So you brought that party experience to the corporate space in the look and feel, and when you walk into the room, and just even the choice of pieces that you use, the backdrops, all of that kind of stuff. So I just want you, the people that are learning and watching for the first time, that it wasn't that you were just in the space, but you almost created a niche space within the corporate events industry that you became known for. I mean, that's really amazing what you have done, and we have seen others in the space that have tried to do something similar, but you guys really were the first to kind of bring that kind of energy into the corporate world. So kudos for that, and that's why Blueprint is the official execution partner of Ready to Emerge. Now it's
Deane, somebody actually just said, Angelique said, fascinating journey. And as I was listening to you, I think the thing that has always fascinated me with you is, people see in the party promoter, but I've always thought you were so intense. I'm like, Deane is kind of like a closet nerd. And sometimes when you are a ball of talent, just very gifted with lots of different things, for persons who are very gifted with lots of different things and struggle with which identity works, and like you start with an identity and then it doesn't necessarily feel like the you. Even from that conversation with Chris Riley, can you help them, talk to them about that? Because, sometimes you think you need to be more corporate, or should I be more party, or, how do I work with these several gifts and cut and go through?
I mean, of course, there's no right or wrong answer. You just have to look at it and say, who do you want to be, and literally pick one. Because I could have gone the party route and been very successful. There's no reason why I couldn't have done that. But what I think I wanted for myself, what I thought I wanted for myself, was to lead with corporate and then do parties, because I saw a bigger end goal.
Yes.
Because leading with the corporate would help me to open so many doors to build even bigger on the promoter side versus vice versa. So for other people, I spoke to people, I talked to friends. Even before partnering with Kari, I used to talk to him just off the air, talk to him about things and what I was going through. And he was even before Chris really said it, he was the first one that said, you have to pick what you want to do or what you want to be. When you take up the phone and call, the CEO of Sagicor or whoever, who do you want them to think is on the line?
Yes.
Do they want to look and say, this guy on Facebook that's always posting his floral pictures and out dancing at parties, is that the person that you want? Or do you want them to think about, oh, that's this businessman who runs this corporate event planning company? And so talk to your friends, find a mentor. People all over the world have gone through the same journey, the same decision point that you are at, and just talk to people. You have people that are going to be very slow and careful in their discussion with you, and you're going to have your friends that are going to be very cut and dry. Noel DaCosta, who is one of the godfathers at Red Stripe, I went to him for that decision when I was thinking about coming over into marketing, and he was just like, just do it. Like you think you want to do it, just do it. Like leave me alone. Like just do it. Think it. You've thought it. Have you thought it through? Yes. Do you see the advantages of how it can work for you? Yes. Well, then, all right, what do you want from me? So, talk to people. Um, you can only make the decision for yourself, but be true to yourself. What are you really good at? A lot of people say they're good at a lot of things, but what are you really good at? And is what you're good at something that you can actually commercialize? Because commercializing is really the biggest thing to it. You have a lot of people that have a lot of ideas, but does it have do you have a market for it in the island that you're in the market that you're in the region that you're in? And these are the tough decisions that you have to make. And sometimes you might be a good artist, but you may be better at accounting, and accounting can actually make big money. But that assumes that your journey is about making money, because you have a lot of people that have a quality journey that they want to be on to just do art. And so I'm not saying one is the other, but you have to be honest with yourself about what you want to achieve. And don't be afraid to partner with people if it is that they can help you to complete your journey. You can continue to be the artist, and somebody else can build the business for you, build it out, have you sold, exported all over the world, while you just continue to focus on your art.
Great.
So that's what I would say.
That's excellent advice, Deane.
Every time I talk to Deane, I think the word that comes to me is solid. There's like, I always think Deane just has, there's him just solid. You know, that solid usually is from a foundation, and you talk about your parents a lot. Can you kind of tell us where this foundation comes from, this work ethic, the way that you approach things, very methodical, very structured, but yet you still can have fun? Where does that come from?
That's literally a combination of my father and mother, because my mother was an academic. She believes in studies, getting your qualifications, and she believes in making a difference. And I remember some of the early challenges with my mother and my father. My father took a while to realize that my mother was not somebody who was going to be backbench. She had her own identity. She wanted to be seen. She wanted to be known. She wanted to be acknowledged, and she wanted to make a difference. And from her, I got that strength of conviction and going after your goals, and really staying true to your goals. A father, on the other hand, I've never seen him serious. Well, I've seen him serious when he's chasing us with the belt. But generally, everything is a joke. It's just always a joke. And he's from Trinidad, so everything is a joke to him. But if you check his background in terms of his studies, he's qualified and always has his degrees, studied. And so he always used to challenge us. What's this? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? And it was just always about his intelligence. Always amazed me. I mean, everybody's amazed by their parents, but he corrected us every day about our grammar. And no, that math is wrong, and to think that through, and no, correct that. And it started off annoying me, but then it just became a family challenge. Who could correct who, and it culminated in another funny story. When I finished studying engineering, it wasn't my first job. Wasn't Red Stripe. I was down at the wharf at Kingston Free, one of those terminals where they do the containers, right? And there was a bit of politics going on. The operators were damaging some of the equipment, and the engineering manager needed to blame them, but he needed to bring an outside person in to do a technical analysis of it. To be able to say, management, see, is the guy is mashing it up. I don't know anything about the machine. But anyway, the interview, the lady called me in and said, okay, Mr. Shepherd, see your qualifications, thank you, whatever. I need you to write an essay about why we should hire you. I said, write an essay? All right, cool. Right, and very eloquent, as Bramwell taught me, whatever. And the lady literally took it up and was like, he can write. And she ran out of the room upstairs to her boss, so amazed that this engineer could actually express himself and write, and that's all due to Bramwell and Burry. Wow. Yeah, because they were always like challenging us, and I was the easiest child, and I always used to get annoyed every time we used to go to a movie. He'd be like, okay, what did you learn about that movie? What was the movie? And I used to kind of resent it because I was like, Dad, you don't have
You're
to.
talking about my father.
I do my work. I don't need help to push me to do my work, And so I used to resent it. But looking back at it now, being able to speak, being able to type, being able to express myself, being able to correct other people with the grammar, annoys them. But it's all due to that foundation, and for that I can't express enough to them how grateful I am in terms of giving me that foundation to want to better myself and having a vision. And I mean, when I failed chemistry, one of the times that I failed chemistry at UA, like I overslept the exam, and it was my father up there banging off my door, and just like how could you? So it wasn't like all jokes, but when it's work time, it's like, work time. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And my mother, when I did the 2 degrees back to back, she said, Dean, once you finish your engineering and come home, you can just relax, man, and miss you. And I think I came home for about 2 days, and I was sleeping. And she came into the room and she's like, no son of mine is just going to sleep his life away and just be here. I was like, this is the same lady.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Out of the house. Go and do something. Do something. You can't stay here. So, no, man, for them, it's just, they're the most amazing parents that anybody could have. If I can be half of what they are to Nyla, then I'll be great.
Oh, wonderful. Kevin Henry. Well, Kevin Henry said that guy. So before I hand over to Nye, they did not give you the man of the year, but tonight, Deane Shepherd, man of the year.
Man of the year.
A couple years late, but I'll take it. Thank you.
It's so funny that Kevin just popped in, right? Because what I wanted to ask about was your circle. So for those that don't know, this is Deane with an E. Don't get it, right? And if you know Deane with an E, you know that he has a tight circle of friends, but he has an even tighter circle of in his inner circle, right? And let's hope I have the inner circle correct, which I believe is PP, Che, that sounds like Gray, and
Right.
Che very, very clearly corrected me the first time I called him Che.
Yeah.
And he said it was Che like Gray, so I
He
never forgot
doesn't
that.
even know how to pronounce his own name, so don't worry about it.
I'll never forget it. But how important is it for you as a man, especially to have close friends within your circle that you don't just party with, but you can also partner with on different ventures? Women talk about, circle of friends all the time, but we don't hear men really talking about their crew. So tell us a little bit about that and the importance there.
Your circle is very, very important, and I think you have to be honest about your circle. Not every circle is for everything, and that doesn't make you any less close to your circle. So each of those persons that you named out has such a different personality, believe it or not. PP, I mean, you can't even put what is PP in terms of what it represents. He's just all over in terms of his personality. He's just so far-reaching, and he is one of the most genuine people that I know. He believes in something, and he goes with what he believes in. It may be wrong to you, but he doesn't do anything that he believes is wrong. He believes that when he does something, he does it with conviction because that's what he believes in. And it's very important to understand the difference between somebody doing something that you don't agree with and thinking that they have any bad intention versus finding that person that does everything with a true clean intention about what he does. And there have been times where PP and I have a very energetic conversation. We dip in and out of our closeness over the years, and it's a running joke. But PP is a great guy, and he's somebody that I confide in a lot in terms of people relationships. Like I said, PP is a relationship whisperer. He understands the street. He understands the dynamics between individuals, and it's not just a man and woman relationship. It's a people relationship. Kevin is, again, Campionite, bright guy. He's kind of the bridge between everybody. He's kind of like that central. We call him the only mature person in the group that I can cope on. He really keeps us grounded. He's the one that if we have tough conversations, we fall out over the event planning and so forth. He's the one that is guys, come on, guys, and you have to talk back to PP, come on, let's have a meeting, let's talk. And he keeps us together. And again, you have to be honest about who your friends are. If you look for the wrong things in your friends, not what they are, what you want them to be, you'll always find that you're at a crossroads. And Chet, what can we say about Chet? He's an interesting fella. He's a comedian of the group. But Chet is an undercover goal getter. And for him, you kind of just see him breezing around and he floats around and he comes and he asks for advice here, he asks for advice there. And people take him simple, but he has a vision for what he's doing, especially with MD Link and what it has done. I tell him he's the only person that has done well with the pandemic. He's done interviews all over. But that's the circle. It's different people, and it took us a while.
There's Alistair too.
Alistair's are different. I come into a different set. So Chet, Kevin, and PP are like the set that we party together, we do some business together.
Yes.
But our relationship stop at certain points. There are certain things that we found we shouldn't do together. We shouldn't do everything together because it's tough. It's not easy doing business with somebody day in, day out. That toughness and that stress and that passion goes both ways. And then going out with them. Not everybody gets that dynamic as easily. And so we have found that we found some solid business opportunities that if Corona will just leave us alone, we're going to go back and continue to really drive it home. And there's some things that we're going to leave alone together. And we all kind of accept that not everything, but having them as a group that we can laugh and joke and share and, card each other about, which teams you support and, Philip's team, Chelsea always losing. Well, no, sorry, that's Kevin's team, Arsenal always losing. PP's team is not as bad. And so that's kind of that's what that circle is.
Yes.
And then I have other people that, I am close to for different reasons. I mean, Alistair is, he's probably somebody that I talk to about everything. We have a different relationship. We don't talk as much about, I would say, not necessarily like parties and girls and that type of thing. Alistair is about life and the world and the government doing and them doing foolishness. And so, he's more of a reasoning. And if I have a problem about how I'm approaching business or an individual, and it's kind of like a more of a counselor that way. And so that's it. So it's important to know who your friends are for what reason, what purpose they serve. Don't try and fit a square friend into a triangle hole because you think that he's your friend like that. I mean, I'll be honest. If you're looking for PP to give you warm advice, you're looking at the wrong person. Tough love. PP is like you hit your foot. All right, don't hit your foot again then, and get over it. That's it. He's not a friend that's gonna be like, oh, you hit your foot, Jano, sardine, boy, I feel it for you, boy. That's really unfortunate. I'm really sorry that you hit your foot. That's maybe Kevin. They will be like, but people will be like, all right, cool, you got over. Don't hit your foot again. Yeah. And that you just have to know that he does that with the best intentions. Kevin does with his best intentions. Che does with his best intentions. And it took me a while to figure out friends and what they're for and what I'm not trying to make every friend the same for you.
Yes.
Each of those friends is like invaluable to me. Invaluable.
Awesome. And during this time especially, which has blindsided everybody, how has that support been for you through that same circle? Or have you discovered other people that are now part of the circle that are helping you to still navigate this space?
I would find that because we merged at the same month, March 2020, SNB Creative Group finally merged March 2020. which is the birthday of Corona in Jamaica. And so I have found that I have spent the majority of my time with Kari and the Norbrook team and OJ, the Godfather, trying to stay afloat. And that's where a lot of the conversations have been primarily. Um, After work, I found that we haven't, I mean, Corona keeps people apart. So we haven't connected as much as we would in person, of course. But we
Right.
talk every day, not everything constructive, but it's important to keep your friends and keep any type of communication with them, because I have found from time to time that I drift out into, stressed out and drift away from people and not, wanting to kind of be present. And
Mhm.
I've gone through those ups and downs, the emotional challenge of Corona. And I found that it's important to still reach back out. I'll go up by Alistair more often now to try and be out of the house and in a place that I can just relax. But yeah, I talked to these guys. Just saw Kevin today. He came and borrowed some stuff from me. So, Che, we talked to PP. So it is very important to keep your friends close, because the journey that you're going through is not you alone. And even more so with Corona now, you have to, be present for your friends. You never know what somebody else is going through. They may not want to come and tell you that they're going through problems, and I may not want to articulate that I'm going through problems, but I may just talk to you. And just in talking to you is all the help or distraction from my problems that I need. So yeah, you're ever more important.
Oh.
So,
That's fine. Are you seeing Kevin's comment?
Yeah, to get the other
Like
side of the
I feel like
story.
we should pull them in. We should send them the StreamYard link with the real
Uh,
stories.
yeah.
Andre is asking a question.
It's just my thing. It's just my thing, Peanut. Just like how you have 100 businesses, that's your thing. That's my thing. Mirrors is my thing.
that is too funny. So, hi, Brooke. So, Brooke came up in perfect time indeed. You've been popping bottles for a while, right? So now you've gone from popping champagne bottles to baby bottles. You've become a daddy.
They're more expensive than champagne.
Right? Because it's more consistent, right? Consumption daily. But become a dad. Congratulations. Nyla is
Thanks.
one now, right?
Yeah, 1 year and 1 month.
Journey of being a daddy been for you?
Definitely different. Definitely different. I don't think that for my personality, it could have been anybody else but Brooke. But I couldn't see anybody else kind of finding a way to temper me and level me off and balance me for this, because a child is not easy. And it's not easy, not easy. But it's the greatest thing I could have ever asked for or wished for or hoped for. I remember being at Dream in 2018, and Garth Walk and Pierre Gabo were talking about, Deane, you're not a youth yet, and what's happening? And Pierre turned around and said, you'll never know love like when you have that child. And it's like, I can't believe it. It's like, it's different. It's different. It's been amazing. It's been a learning experience to figure out what the cries all meant and not go crazy and jump off of the roof. And when she finally started sleeping through the night, I think I probably ran a lap around the apartment. But it's been a journey. It teaches me patience, teaches me understanding, teaches me about what's important, what matters. Sometimes, I'm still at the desk and, oh gosh, what am I going to do? I'm just like, what? I'm going home. It will, you can't finish the work. The problems will be there in the morning. We're going to have 300 more cases tomorrow anyway. Stop fret, go home to Nyla. And it's been amazing. I mean, I see my parents almost gave up on me. My mother bought a dog, a little dog in 2018, because she was just like, listen, I give up on my grandchildren. And then when she got Nyla now, it's like the dog is just locked up around the back, no love anymore. So like I when I carry Nyla to mom, she's just like she's on the verge of tears. It's like
Oh,
trust me. Sometimes you don't do it for yourself, you do it for them. Like they're the joy that they have with it. So I mean, Nyla is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But yeah, man.
That's so beautiful. So tell us now, I mean, between COVID and new business, what does and Nyla, what does a typical day in the life of Deane look like?
So typically, I mean, I am my own alarm clock, 6 o'clock, up, and checking the first set of emails. I know, people talk about trying not to be glued to your devices and so forth, but I don't do work. I love what I do, so I just get up and do what I love doing. So it's not work to me, so it's different. I am not chored with Lord, can't bother. I get up, I'm like, all right, cool. Check this first set of emails, and if fire's burning, then I make my coffee, take my time, I listen to Brooke complain about something, and then I give her a speech and say, it will be okay, just trust in me, just do it this way. I solve the problem, she smiles, and I go about my business. Then
I wish you could bring Brooke on.
I wish we could bring. I feel like we really need to send out that StreamYard link to certain people right now to get the real stories, as Kevin said.
So yeah, then I make my way to the office between 8:30 to 9:30, depending on what the traffic is like. Go down at the computer, looking at what's happening for the week, what's happening for the day, checking the bank account, who we have to hide out today, looking for opportunities. And in my role, so starting from my blueprint role, my job was always to transition from being seen as a boss into a leader. And it's a very big distinction for me. And so for the most, when we started to transition into a entity that had its own legs and identity, it's about changing it from called Deane to called Blueprint. And so I would just be like, no man, just talk to Dejeuner, just talk to Anarchy, talk to Kamisha. No man, Kamisha can handle it for you. Just keep me in copy. They can handle it for you. Because there was always building up this thing about if Deane is not there, it's not gonna get done. And I couldn't.
That's a life of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I couldn't manage that for what I want, for the growth that we wanted. There's no way I could do it all. And so most of my time nowadays is around coaching, around, have you thought about this? All right, cool, no problem. Have you thought about that? Have you worked out the thing for the weekend? All right, cool, no problem. Do your thing. And be able to be kind of firm and strict in setting standards, but not letting them think that is kind of, okay, I'm easygoing, so you can get away with anything. And that's kind of, so I typically wrap up my days now because we have no night events at 5, head home, sit on the play mat with Nyla, make her run up and down, lift her up, and then watch the clock till it's still about 7:38, and I said, Nyla, then I start looking in her eyes and said, Nyla, go to your bed, go to your bed. And we just start that journey from 7:30, go to your bed, because that's the highlight of the day. They laugh. When she goes to sleep, I will tiptoe, put her in the crook. You could hear like fireworks going off, like it's the biggest accomplishment for the day. And then that's it. I mean, back on the phone, checking back through the emails, anybody, and just kind of keeping it like a puppet master in a sense, kind of keeping it, because for the vision that we have for where this company needs to go and this group of brands, it's not Deane, it is me kind of orchestrating and empowering people to be in the right position to go out and do that. I want Russell to be seen as the leader, the guru in production. So people, if they need anything, they call Russell. Russell tells people that if my tire if something's wrong with my car, I say call Russell. Anything is wrong, call Russell. He's so tired of it. It's like everything. He's like, Deane, everything is not me. So, but that's just how it's built up over time. It's just like every time I have something to do, I trust him so much to just get things done that I'll just be like, no man, just talk to Russell. Russell can sort out for you. And it's just like, Deane, everything is not me. But it's about my team. I really like it. It saddens me because of Corona and the impact that it has had on the team and not being able to keep everybody together. But I just have to take the highs and the lows. and hope that, in the end, most of my decisions will turn out to have been the right ones. But I would say that's the part that makes me most emotional about COVID. Not even just what I am going through, but the type of conversations I've had to have with the team about, letting people go, reducing salaries, but still expecting that them to go when Scotia says we have one thing to do, that they go like they're getting their full pay to deliver, because Scotia doesn't care that everybody is not there. So that's pretty much it. I mean, in the mornings I'm checking the news, trying to keep updated with current affairs, checking the Gleaner, Observer, and so I kind of take the first part of the morning to kind of catch up with what's going on in the world, and then at work is just about work. Relationships is the most important thing. Keeping up with the relationships, helping to carry on that legacy of Starlight, who, if I thought I was about relationships, Starlight is triple about relationships and keeping people happy, and making people know that they're there for them, and anything, they're there for the support. And that's something that OJ, I didn't think I could learn more about being diplomatic as I did at Red Stripe, but OJ carried to another level about being diplomatic, and no problem, man.
OJ is on a whole different level.
Different level. I don't know how he does it. He can be shouting at OJ and, oh, no problem, man. No problem. Sort it out for you, man. No problem, man.
And just because of his response too, it puts your guard down.
Right.
Wait, it makes more again.
Right, exactly. I think I've only seen OJ maybe upset once or twice over 13, 14 years.
Wow.
But yeah, that's typically how I approach the day.
Wow. Okay. So Deane, as you are looking in the future, I want you to think to 15 years from now. You have been awarded one of our business leader awards. Nyla is almost 16 or 16 at the time, and
under lock and key.
So she got let out to come to the event. The cage was open for her to come to the event, and a tribute is being done about you. When someone is doing a tribute about you 15 years from now, what are some of the things about you that you would, when you have that vision of your life, that you would want them to capture in that tribute?
I think most of it centers around having a vision for what you want to achieve in life, and not just kind of flying by the seat of your pants and just kind of go with where the wind blows. There may be times in your journey that is important to not kind of feel, structured or tied down to something. But I've found that a lot of people have a lot of ideas, and you have to set a goal for yourself, the audacious goal. And I want people to look back at my journey and say, he set audacious goals for himself and he put in the work day in, day out. Because that's what it's all about. I mean, we talk about Instagram and this fake life that people represent there. But what I want people to look at when they look at my Instagram is like, boy, Deane is fun and all, but damn, he works hard. He works hard. And that's what I want people to be inspired by, not just cool and can tell to joke and go to the party. It is, you set a goal.
What was that move that you just did a while ago?
On a PP, take away yourself down. But it is about setting that audacious goal, because if you set a comfortable goal, you're all right. But if I didn't set an audacious goal, there's no way I would have this opportunity to be partners with Kari and OJ and getting ready for what our next step is going to be once Corona frees us up. There's no way I would have been there if I was just okay with where I was and comfortable with what I was doing. And again, it's your own journey. Nobody can tell you what it should be. Just because I set a certain goal or standard doesn't mean that your standard or goal is wrong. Not judging anybody, but when people look back at me, I want them to say he set audacious goals and he worked day in, day out to achieve them. And that's how I want to inspire people.
Love that, Deane. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Nyla will be proud.
Should better be.
Right. Is it time for best advice?
Best advice. We need to create like a little
Yeah, a little song.
So, Deane, this is our best advice segment where we ask you some questions on different topics, and we want you to share either your best advice about the topic or the best advice that you have received about the topic. And as you see on the screen, the first one is best advice about love.
It is your own decision. Don't rush or be rushed before time, ahead of time, anything like that. It is your journey. It is your decision. You have to find a point, however, where you challenge yourself to be a better person, to be able to accept love. But at the end of the day, you have to be ready. You have to be ready, and you can't be forced. Anytime you're forced into a situation, it's hardly likely that it's going to end well.
Wow, let's bring up some of those comments that just came in on the screen. Next one, Kathy.
Those are your friends.
Nice friends.
Okay. Best advice about money.
About money, focus on the service and what you're trying to build, the brand you're trying to build, and the money will come. In anything that you're doing, if you're trying to make the money and it's all about how much can I make in this opportunity, it's not going to make as much as if you focus on how can I deliver the best service. And as Naomi mentioned around that niche that we created around the conference area, it wasn't even something that we did purposely. We're just like, people are coming to us for it, and we were like, well, we can't let everyone look the same. So what if it looked like this? And what if it looked like that? Wouldn't that be great? And so focus on the service, the customer, the client, your employees. The money will come. So focus on delivering the best business and creating the best business model. The money will come. But when you get the money, you must be smart with it, the whole investment and all of that. But for me, it's more about focus on building the brand, and the money will come.
Yeah.
Love that. Best advice about life.
Balance. This is not one that I've done as well as I could have, and I'm trying to do more of it. And again, Philip is probably the one that gave me this advice, not in all those structured words, just like, so you're just going to go every day and just worry and stress out every day? Like, you can't do that every day. Like, do something else, man. You have to free up. Like, you can't just get up every day and worry about the same thing every day. Like, do something else. So translate it into corporate terms. Balance is important. Balance. And again, that's why you have to understand your friends so you can listen to the advice that they're giving you. But balance is important. And working every day, being tied to your computer, being tied to what you're trying to do is great in terms of having the ambition and the drive to deliver what you're doing. But balance is also important. And that's something that I don't do as well as I should. And I'm trying to do more of it in terms of, some days if I shut down the laptop, the work will never end.
Right.
It helps when you love doing what you're doing, so it's not really work. But it is important to balance, go for breakfast, go to the beach, go to the country, just relax, turn on the TV, just don't go in one day. Not you, Russell, but balance is important. I'd say that's probably the best advice in terms of balance.
Okay. Best advice about relationships.
I would say that this is probably one that I discovered for myself, in the sense that, people always tell me you have to be ready. You have to be ready. But for me, I found that I needed more of myself to say, Deane, it's time for you to step up in terms of what you want out of a relationship. You can't just say you want to be a certain way and it will come. You have to step up as well. It's not just a one-way street. You have to step up for yourself. So I think you have to find the point at which you need to address your shortcomings, and whether it be maturity or fear of commitment or something, and embrace it with the right person. So it's finding that balance between the right time, the right person, but you also stepping in to accept it Because if you don't step in to accept it and accept your flaws, and I mean, I like my own company. I very selfish when it comes to what I want. I hear Brooke laughing in the background there in the other room. Um, but I have had to realize that, well, you can't say you want a relationship if you can't have people in your space, or find a way to accommodate, and in terms of even being, challenging in arguments, how to resolve an argument. I would say probably Zachary Harding gave me the best advice one time when he was just like, Dean, when you're committed is when you realize that you can't just pack up your things and go home. You're there, deal with the issue. You can't run from the issue. And it was a more colorful episode of him explaining that to me, but for purposes of this, that was it, deciding when it's time to be mature and focus on solving something. So I would say that would be my.
Excellent.
What advice would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Believe it or not, I would say have more confidence in my abilities. I found that, and this is the danger of people who can dabble in different things. You don't pick one because you feel like you can do everything, and so you straddle between being a jack of all trades and master of none, because you have a fear of stepping out into a particular field. You have a fear of pushing your head out. Okay, you don't want to be a promoter, so you kind of just be an okay promoter. You don't want to go up against Solomon and main event, so you kind of just do a little thing in the event, and so you kind of find that years pass and you're average, you're okay when you have talent. And I think that is what I'd have told my 20-year-old self, to be more confident and to step up and just kind of do what you can do. And I think that's definitely advice I'd have given my 20-year-old self. Wow. Stop procrastinating and just do what you can do.
Yeah. Wow.
Excellent.
Wow.
So Deane, where can people find you?
At Deane. So I mean, the handles for the companies are Blueprint Events JA, Starlight Production JA, Realtime.studios, and Deane is my personal handle. On Instagram, Deane, on Twitter.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, we learned so much tonight, not just about you and about your journey, but from you.
Yes.
I mean, so many insightful gems that we've gotten in such a simplistic way for everybody to take away from. And, we're so grateful that you agreed to.
Sorry, as Rachel said, solid. That's the word. You're a solid guy, Deane.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. And again, to reiterate what Naomi said, thank you for being our Emerge partner, execution partner.
No problem.
Talk about the experience with your team, and we can testify firsthand that when it comes to service, quality, creativity, executing our vision and enhancing it, we're so grateful.
Thank you. Can't wait till the next one.
And I think we cannot wait, because Deane will have to on actual
was with Blueprint. Remember, our last big face-to-face execution was with Blueprint. One of the things that we always talk about, and we should really publicly thank you for, is that you believed in our vision. And
from day one,
we partnered. You are like, let's work together and take the vision to another level. And for that, we are truly, truly grateful. We thank you.
No problem. You have to identify the right partners early. And we work with Naomi so much that it's not much we can say no to Naomi for, based on the opportunity she has given us as well. So, but that's something that I like doing in terms of supporting people. I'd love to speak more, to talk about my journey and how people should set audacious goals, because I think that everybody needs people that they can look up to and say, wow, I'm inspired by what you say. And that's what I would love to continue to encourage people to say. Don't just dabble. Just what's the biggest thing you could do out of this idea? that's the biggest thing, go, set the biggest thing. Don't just
The biggest thing to do with this idea. I love that.
Yeah,
It's
love
committing to
that.
being on the next summit. That's what he was doing a while ago.
Yeah, but Andre Brown says so much depth, Dean.
Oh, why for that?
But I'm happy that I tuned in. Thanks, Peanut.
Yeah.
Oh,
Says looking for the mentorship series.
Sure. I spend a lot of time when people ask me questions, informal settings, just answering. And I'm happy to do that because I think that sometimes you just need the right advice or even just to pick your own advice out of what somebody rambles on about. And I think everybody's due that opportunity. And I'm happy to
I
do that.
feel like we've had a conversation about this before, right? About
Yeah.
the fact that we have all these women doing these amazing things and having all these conferences and summits and talks and whatever, and we're not seeing the same coming out of our male counterparts. And it's something, as you said, it's so important, that mentorship, just having that conversation with Chris Willie, having that conversation with Zachary as it relates to relationships. There's so much that men within your age group as well as the younger generation can learn from your experiences and your journey. And I really want to challenge you and your peers that are watching to figure out how can you start the conversation, especially during this time on a simple platform like StreamYard, on a live on Instagram, but talking about the things that we actually don't talk about, but everybody needs to hear about.
Yeah.
But it's so important because what's happening now is that you have all these amazing women and it's the reality, and you don't have men that are ready to support or partner in the right way. And so it's up to you guys really to kind of start sharing that knowledge and expertise and advice and wisdom for the generation that's coming up as well.
Yeah. So look forward to partnering with you on that though. Emerge will partner with you on the execution of that.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
To create a platform, but they will show up.
Yeah. No, man, I think it's something that has been on my mind, and yes, Naomi did challenge me at one point in time to do it. And I was thinking about it this week, another version of it. And so, if we can just help to push it, frame it, and push it out, I'd be happy to do that because I think there's definitely benefit in doing it.
Absolutely. I think we would be very excited to partner with you on that for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is like a whole thing happening
This
right
is what happens. Collaboration.
I see Kevin agrees, so that means Kevin will make himself available.
Exactly.
But Deane, I mean, tonight I think people had an opportunity to just sit and listen. You just delivered so many nuggets in a way, as Kathy said, in a simple way, meaning in a way that people could receive. Non-threatening, you shared so much of your journey, even some of your own vulnerabilities. And I know that our emergers are forever changed. And as you said, sometimes you don't know who you're touching, but you just make yourself available to share your own journey, and it is having such a big knock-on effect. So we are really grateful that you took this time to be with our emergers, to be with the Emerge team today. I mean, this was good. This was good. It was good. It was very, very good.
First of all, I was just saying, wow, that's such a nice comment, Shay, until I saw the follow-up comment.
I said it. That's it. That's it.
And you know what, Deane? And I'll say this on behalf of the Emerge team. You are our man of the year.
Thank you. I try.
You deserve it.
Deane, thank you for joining us. I mean, it's been almost an hour and a half. So we're
really?
grateful that you made the time for us and for our emergers. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on all of our platforms at Ready to Emerge. And we look forward to seeing you again right here next week, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
All right, take care.